Louis Giglio, and I'm sitting here with my sister Gina. We're talking about...
Next to that emotional abortion battle, President Trump speaking out for the first time since 2 states passed laws that virtually outlaw the procedure. In a series of tweets, the president calling himself strongly pro-life, yet separating himself from those laws that make no exception for rape or incest, and also mentioning the 2020 election at the same time. ABC's David Wright reporting from the White House.
With the politics of abortion now front and center, President Trump insists his views are mainstream. Tweeting this weekend, "For those who would like to know, I am strongly pro-life with the 3 exceptions, rape, incest, and protecting the life of the mother, the same position taken by Ronald Reagan." But some of the new state laws restricting abortion, including Alabama's near outright ban, offer no exception for rape or incest.
I don't support the Alabama law. I believe that there ought to be exceptions. I'm pro-life, but there ought to be exceptions for rape and incest and where the life of the mother is at risk.
Until recently, anti-abortion activists have tended to focus on so-called late-term abortions in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. But new laws in half a dozen states would ban the procedure midway through the 1st trimester, before some women even know they're pregnant.
This is dangerous. It is a place that we have never seen.
The idea that women in this country should not be able to control their own bodies is beyond belief. They have that constitutional right.
That constitutional right established in 1973 by the U.S. Supreme Court in its landmark Roe v. Wade decision. For decades, Republicans have energized their base, raising money and votes by vowing to reverse Roe.
That'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court.
President Trump has made good on that promise, and states are putting the issue to the test, prompting a potential backlash from Democratic candidates, hoping to energize their voters.
I hope America's women are paying attention, because President Trump has started a war on America's women, and if it's a fight he wants to have, it's a fight he's going to have, and he's going to lose.
All right, David Wright joins us now from the White House. And David, in his tweets about abortion, the president also mentioning the 2020 election.
That's right, Tom. The president tweeted how it's important to, as he put it, stick together and win for life. Republicans clearly hoping to energize their base and claim the middle ground here. But some of these new state laws are for extreme restrictions on abortion, and that will almost certainly energize voters on the other side, Tom.
And the Democratic candidates also weighing in. All right, David, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Day Gardner is with us tonight. She is the president of the National Black Pro-Life Union right here in the nation's capital. She has been in the belly of the beast fighting for life for nearly a decade and a half. Day Gardner, the president, yesterday treated that his opinion regarding abortion is no different than the great president Ronald Wilson Reagan on rape, incest, and as well the life of the mother as exemptions to the restrictions of abortion. Before we get started with that particular part of conversation, I got to ask you, as a woman, do you believe that the conversation regarding abortion is a war on women and women's rights?
It is not a war on women or women's rights. Keep in mind that, we're talking about the death of a human being. A baby is not part of a woman. It's a separate individual growing inside of the woman. So it's not, you could say if the woman has 4 arms and 4 legs and 2 heads, that's what. This is a separate individual, separate DNA, many times different blood type. And, I heard you talking before about someone saying that, if you don't have a uterus, then you have no right to talk about abortion. Well, you know what? A woman alone cannot make a baby. She's going to need a man to do that. So therefore, every man has a right to speak up in support of life, because he, in many ways, is like President Reagan in being pro-life. But you know what's different? And Reagan was very forceful and very strong also, but Donald Trump is not like any
John Trump to become president of the United States. And let me just broach these two things with you, because you and I, we've been black a long time. We supremacists in our own right, and that we truly don't care for women or children when we promote the idea that women do not have the right to abortion. Now, if you could touch on all those particular things, because they do impact each and every one of us in the conservative movement. I'm not saying Republican or Democrat, I'm saying conservative movement. You, Gardner, are a wonderful black woman who president of the National Black Pro-Life Union. What say you regarding the impetus for individuals to persecute you because of your beliefs?
Well, this has been going on for a very long time. They're always going to find some reason to have a problem with you. But the most important thing that I look at is the fact that every child is precious in God's eyes. Every single child is precious. And the thing that I think that most blacks especially should key in on while they're, calling us all kinds of derogatory names is the fact that why is it that abortions are sought by mostly, for the most part, when you think in terms of abortions, most abortions are performed on black women. Mm-hmm. And if you think in terms of Alabama, for instance, in 2015, 60% of those...
Exactly. Gardner with us. I want to ask you right here, just because some of us may I'm one of those individuals that disagrees with the president's opinion, although I voted for the president and supported him and still support him on everything from world relations to as well economic security for our nation, especially in the conversations with China. On trade, I am very supportive of the president. On this one, I disagree with him on. I believe, as the state of Alabama believes, that there is not a reason for abortion for rape or incest. Now, I want to ask you here, am I a Philistine? Am I missing something in this regard, that a human life is a human life? And even the Bible says in Jesus' statement that the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth doesn't count when it comes to the procession of a baby.
Harming a child, exactly. But the thing is that, of course, I believe that all children are precious, as you just stated. That I know that that's what God feels. I know that any person who considers himself a Christian, Bible-believing, Bible-thumping, whatever you want to call it, have to admit the fact that God believes that every child has purpose, made in His own image. I think what a lot of people refer to when they say rape and incest, it's like that's something that the other side constantly pushes. What about rape? What about incest? According to the Guttmacher Institute, which is the research arm of the nation's leading abortion seller, which is Planned Parenthood, about 15,000 abortions are attributed to rape and incest, representing 1.5% of all abortions, and that was back in 2015. So when you think about the percentage, 1.5% of all abortions, and then you think about the fact that we're losing 1 million children per year to abortion, and the 15,000 they're attributing to rape and incest. 1 million children per year are being aborted. So if you look at that, and there's such a small percentage, and every one of those children are precious. Every one of those children do not deserve to die because of a rapist or someone who's some incestual relationship. I think it's really sad that a rapist will get jail, someone performing who is involved in an incestuous relationship will get jail, manslaughter, and so on.
I agree wholeheartedly with you.
I believe, as you do, that all life is precious.
And listen, we share that, and we are being ostracized often, at least I have been, by fellow members of the conservative movement for not being a uniter, for not getting behind us. If my opinion means that, quite frankly, there won't be a change of Roe v. Wade. Does that matter, my opinion, so much that it may stop a justice from being added, taking Ginsburg's place, hopefully at the end of June, that would reverse Roe v. Wade?
Of course, I am hoping that Roe versus Wade is reversed in my lifetime as soon as possible. I mean, that is the hope and that's the prayer. That's also the reason why the liberals and Democrats are fighting so hard against Trump with regard to the Supreme Court justices and all these other justices. They are scared to death that tissue. I mean, they are just scared to death. Think of it this way also. Back in the old caveman days, back in 1973 and earlier, maybe even a little bit later than that, women believed that babies were just a lump of tissue. You know, we have modern technology now, 3 and 4D ultrasounds to show these beautiful babies so alive and so viable much, much earlier than we ever thought possible. And everyone knows now, even the people who abort children know that there's a human being there, a life there. Now their heartbeat is 6 and 8 weeks at the very beginning stages that this child is alive, has a heartbeat. And so now anyone who aborts a child has to admit that they know that they are actually killing a human being. They are killing a child, and they have to admit that. And there are abortionists who continue to do that, know that they are killing.
Exactly.
And they don't care. And that is so evil, and that's why we have to rise up against it and understand that most of those babies that they are killing are black babies, even though all babies are precious. But especially black people have to key into this and understand what's happening.
At the turn of this particular decade, and we're talking with Gardner from the National Black Pro-Life Union, at the turn of this particular decade, about 32,000 pregnancies resulted from sexual assault or rape in the United States of America. You count now 15,000. So, quite frankly, there are fewer and fewer cases of rape or incest in this particular matter when it comes to abortion. I got to ask you, is it because that we are doing a better job in our criminal justice system? Is it because women are prosecuting these individuals now? What's making it less likely that there would be a case for rape and incest?
Well, we have to keep in mind also, as far as I know, this is since, I would say since back in 1997, there has been a steady decrease in abortion over people who are not sure about my statistics or whatever. You can actually go to the CDC and check things out for yourself. Check out the Guttmacher Institute, get some information. I advise everyone to anything that you hear. You can't, of course, you're not going to get anything from mainstream media. We thank God for your program and the work that you're doing. But I ask people in this modern day technology, please Google all of these facts. Check the information for yourself and make sure you check every single website so that you're not just going to one or two. Check around and you get the information for yourself. But people have to educate themselves with regard to this and exactly what's happening with regard to abortion. The fact that abortion is going down overall, but for some reason you think about New York City, which is over 60%. You think about Georgia, 60% black babies are aborted, over 60% black babies. You think about Georgia, more than 66% of all abortions are black. You think about Alabama, where more than 60% are black. In a lot of the major cities, most of the abortions are performed on black women. So you have to think in terms of the fact that abortion in our community is not necessarily dropping. It's dropping and decreasing in other races, but for some reason, that's not the case with regard to black.
Here's the question that Americans have been asked by the left wing of the Marxist, Socialist, Communist parties that represent the Democrat Party of today. That's just my opinion. It's not Dave Gardner's. Quite frankly, there's a 10-year-old girl whose father comes home on Friday night just as drunk as he could ever be. Of course, he is a Trump supporter. He owns guns, and he would vote for the Republican Party. This is the way it's always set up. And he climbs the stairs, and he goes into her room, and he rapes her, practicing incest. And she gets pregnant from his actions. Why do you think that little girl should not have an abortion? I mean, isn't she firstly too young? And then secondly, doesn't that baby remind her constantly of the bad night she had with her father?
Well, you know, the truth of the matter is that it's a horrific, what you described is horrific for any child or any woman, any child especially to go through. It's horrific. But two wrongs don't make it right. You don't think in terms of, you save one child and kill the other. I mean, it doesn't make it okay. So it's necessary to protect both and to hope that both of them can have good lives after something so horrible.
Exactly.
It's necessary to protect both.
Now, because I listen to a lot of conservatives get stumped on that particular issue, and they, freeze up all of a sudden, and then they become percent of those who have suffered rape or incest go on to have their children. And you're absolutely right that two wrongs don't make a right. At what point after rape and incest does the child that's conceived not be a human being?
Exactly. The fact that it's always a human being, a woman or a girl, even at that young age, is not, pregnant with a plant or a rock. It is a human life, and it's necessary to protect all human lives. And there's so many people come out and they come up with the craziest reasons, to say, well, I still believe, they know that it's killing, and say, I still believe that a baby shouldn't live because of, I can't afford a baby or can't. And I'm sorry, I'm a big supporter of adoption as the option.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there was a woman I was talking to once when I was speaking. I think it was at one of the, I don't know if it's Virginia, University of Virginia, one of those colleges. I can't think in terms of what it was, but I was speaking to a group of people there and a group of students. And one young woman came up and said, well, she kind of whispered to me and said that, she couldn't, she supported abortion because she wanted to have an education.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically told me that she was having an abortion because she was in school and the guy who made her pregnant, he wanted to be a basketball player, and that's why it was necessary for her abortion. It was the right thing for her to do because she wanted to be a lawyer, and she went to all this. And we were over in the corner of this big auditorium. I was trying to make my way to the door, trying to get out to my car, and she came up. She said, and she was whispering to me, and I said, "Well, sweetheart, if you're a child in the foster system and be abused in the foster system, I'm thinking at least they have a chance at life."
Yeah.
So what do? You abuse them ahead of time. You kill them so they don't even have a chance at all.
Now,
so it's really it's just common sense and understanding that God says that all life is precious.
Yeah.
It does take time out of your busy schedule and out of your life. It takes about 9 months, and then give your baby up for adoption and go on with your life if that's what you prefer to do.
Exactly. Dr. Ben Carson has stated that children feel pain out of the womb and in the womb. In closing here, and I thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. We're definitely going to have you come back, Ms. Gardner, president of the National Black Pro-Life Union. But I want to leave you with one question and then give you the opportunity to tell everyone how they can support your campaign. The question is this: what happens if we get rid of abortion? Won't we be going back to the backstreet alley abortions of the old period? Isn't it better for a woman to be in a Planned Parenthood clinic where it's safe, it's rare, and it's legal?
That sounds just like a Bill Clinton campaign. That's what he would say. The truth of the matter is that it is never, ever, safe, especially in those places. We hear all the time about women. I mean, you can go online, check out Operation Rescue, and see how many women have died from abortion in those horrible places, because a lot of them are filthy and disgusting. Women who've had torn uteruses, people who've gone in as young girls and had an abortion, and then were never able to have a child afterwards. So it's not safe, and it's definitely, as if you see what the numbers are, it's not rare. When you think in terms of abortion, the safest thing you can do is to have your child. That's the safest thing you can do.
And while I am not a Rehnquist sitting on the Supreme Court and a legal scholar, I will tell you that abortion is not constitutional either. It took a lot of magic, tricks to make it legal, but it certainly ain't. Gardner, how can people get in contact with you? How can they support your program? And how can women, because you know I'm a Philistine man, I wouldn't possibly understand pregnancy. How can women get in contact with you for counsel or direction in terms of their choice matters?
It's like I was saying before, it's necessary to educate yourself. Education is key for women and men, because men do not have any. Fred Hammond, whose mother tried to abort him, any black person who's, gospel music,
Yep.
Fred Hammond is. There are life stories. The truth about Margaret Sanger, who she was and exactly what she was up to and why she was so dangerous, as she is the founder of Planned Parenthood. Get the information, educate yourself. Do not be uneducated with regard to abortion, and understand also that the modern technology proves that children are human beings immediately, and that they are not ever lumps of tissue. They are definitely human beings, have heartbeat at 6 to 8 weeks after conception, and understand what God says about children and how important they are. And I just pray for each and every one of you out there who are listening. I hope you go to the website and get information. That's the most important thing. That is key. And then make a decision to get involved and to speak up. Use your voice and tell others, your family members, tell people like you're doing tonight. And I thank you so much for having me.
Gardner, I thank you so much for being here. Just one last statement here, and you can concur or not, but fellow Republicans, let us not be so petty as to think that because we disagree with the president on this one issue that we will not support the president on other issues, and that we are so malevolent in our nature that we will cause the president to lose an election. It's not about elections, it's about human life. Gardner, President, National Black Pro-Life Union, we thank you and God bless you for your work. We're going to definitely have you back in a few weeks to talk about this issue and even more.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, just want to thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. We will be right back with more of the best right after this.